We've had cigars many, many times before. This young man is so impressive. And I want him to tell a story. I want to tease up in Oregon today. We talked the other day. Yeah, I'll be in Oregon. So, okay, great. I can do it from Oregon. I don't care. You can do it anywhere. You can be on Mars. You can do it. So this young man, let me tell you a little bit about him. I call him the Solar King because he's 35 years old. He had a goal to make $1 million by his third year. Listen to me, in network marketing, and he surpassed that like crazy. So without further ado, my dear friend, he's up in Oregon broadcast. I don't know where he's on the road doing something in Oregon. He lives here in Las Vegas, but he's in Oregon right now. He's flying around on private jets all the time. Does that sound familiar? And I'm glad he slowed down a little bit for us to get on here for a minute. I told him, man, just take your time, do your thing. So without further ado, Mr. Edmund Coutan, let's go, sir. Good morning.
Thank you for having me, Al. How's everybody doing this morning? Well, not gonna lie to you guys, I'm kind of nervous.
You
Not
nervous?
not sure, what direction to really take the call
I tell you
in,
what,
but
I'm gonna guide you a little bit. Tell everybody a little about your background and then how you got to where you are at today. How's that? A little bit of your background, where you started off and where you came from, so people know that
absolutely.
you came from very humble beginnings.
So yeah, no, I was born in France. I moved to America when I was 12, moved to Portland, Oregon. My mom fell in love with an American, and they're naturopathic doctors. They make $150 a year, and my whole life I was told life is not that easy, life doesn't work that way. And I remember sharing that one day I'll have a beautiful $2 million home, and I got lectured because my parents didn't think I liked the home we lived in. But I got started in network marketing right outside of high school, and entered a little company that you guys may have heard of called Amway, and was there a couple weeks and ended up just hopping from opportunity to opportunity because I never became a millionaire. 6 months would go by, and I'm still not a millionaire, not making the kind of money I want to make. And it's always someone else's fault. There's always a reason why, right? There's always an excuse. And so I ended up really just kind of being the laughing stock of my hometown, because I'm 30 years old, and so 10 years flew by really quickly. I still haven't accomplished any of my goals and dreams, and I decided to just adopt some new philosophies. I decided that I just needed to take accountability. I think that's the best philosophy that we can all adopt, and it's easier said than done, right? I tell my guys, you got to check yourself before you wreck yourself. It doesn't matter how talented and skilled you are, your emotional intelligence will get in the way every single time. So from the day that I decided that I was going to start and never stop, things changed. I was able to start climbing my ladder of success. Obviously, the climb doesn't look like this, right? It's a bunch of ups and downs. It's a bunch of obstacles. But I was tired of having $50 and $500 problems, right? I wanted to outgrow those problems. And entrepreneurs find a way. They look for solutions. When you make that commitment and you decide to marry the process and divorce the outcome, you're now solution oriented. You're no longer making excuses or blaming others or looking at other opportunities, letting the birds get to you, right? The birds only get to the weak. You're like, I'm the reason why my company is going to succeed. I'm going to go out there and march forward and do the best I can. And it's one thing to make a 100 grand a month, 100 grand a week. It's another thing to be able to look at yourself in the mirror and actually know you're trying your hardest. I think depression, anxiety, all of that comes from knowing you could do more, right? You don't have a big enough compelling vision for your future, and you know that you could do better, but you're not doing it. You're somehow, for whatever reason, you're not able to move yourself into motion. You have a bunch of false starts. Anytime someone tells you no, it discourages you. Anytime a family member talks about you when you're not in the room and you hear about it, it hurts, and it creates inactivity instead of turning all of that into fuel on why you must produce, right? Another thing I did on top of taking accountability is I decided that whatever happens is going to happen for me, not to me, and any sort of hardship or downfall, I'm gonna learn from, and I'm gonna use all of the ridicule and failures as fuel to keep going and to produce, right? We all have 24 hours in a day. Sometimes if you want to level up, sometimes if you have big goals, well, you got to sacrifice a little bit. So for me, it was giving up my social life, and it was giving up the gym. I was spending way too long in the gym. It was also, if you can't change your environment, change your environment. I moved from Portland, Oregon to California where I didn't know anybody. So there's no distractions, right? Your goals and dreams will never exceed your environment. You got to create that winning
Mm.
environment for yourself. And um and then you got to get serious, right? If you're serious, not curious about changing the quality of your life, got to get after it and never stop. What's nice is I made a 5-year commitment, and then Al shared with you guys that I made my first million in my third year. I actually made 2.6 million in my third year, and my third year was a lot more fun than my first year. Right, my third year, I ended up being in that $2 million house. I ended up having my dream cars and experiencing life on a different level. My first year, I was in my Camry. I was sleeping in $60 rooms, sometimes with bed bugs, and there was a ton of FUD. FUD. Does anybody know what FUD stands for? Fear, uncertainty, and doubt. There was a ton of fear, uncertainty, and doubt. Even practicing all the right philosophies, putting in the work, there's fear, uncertainty, and doubt on the way up. And that's why I say marry the process and divorce the outcome. You got to put in activity based on where you want to go. You got to put in activity that matches your goals and dreams, not activity that's based on your Friday paycheck. 99% of people base their actions, emotions, enthusiasms, beliefs, desires, hunger, ambition, dreams, and goals on their current situation, on their current reality, on their current results. That's 99% of people. They might dream for a second at a seminar. They can get in front of Al or one of you guys, and you can light them up for the weekend. But at a certain point, their goals and dreams are based off their environment, their peers, what people say is possible for them, what society and the $250 billion a day of marketing that we're exposed to, and their Friday paycheck. So
Mm.
big thing is, if you're not working, like you're making 200 grand a month today, the results will take a little while. Napoleon Hill says the man that does more than he is paid for will soon be paid for more than he does. You've got to put in some crazy activity in the beginning, um, but it is way easier to make 250 grand a month than it is a quarter, and it's easier to make 250 a quarter than it is a year. It just is. People work
Hmm.
harder for $1,000 than they do a million, and you work harder for a million than you do 10. So you should rejoice in knowing that you're getting your work out of the way. You should rejoice in knowing that it's not always going to be like this, right? I'm not always going to have $5,000 problems. Eventually I'm going to be talking with Al about, putting, raising 50 million for some commercial property in Tulum.
Yeah.
If you can overcome those little problems, well, you're going to get given bigger ones that might be a little bit more exciting. Back to you, Al.
But I tell people you're struggling with little problems now. As you go up and make more money, you just get bigger problems to solve. And as you make that level, you go to another level, and there's bigger problems to solve. Life is always full of problems. The only person that does not have problems is that person in the graveyard. So until you go there, you always have problems. The question is, how do you deal with them, and how do you solve them? We get paid to solve problems. That's why we make so much money. And that's what you guys do too. You're solving people's economical problems. And that's why you see it pay you so well. Some of us get caught in the stoop and we get discouraged. Edmund, will you tell everybody about the story about the hotel and the bed bugs? I want to hear that story. Tell everybody that story and encourage about the bed bugs in the hotel.
Sure. So yeah, it my first year in solar, I was 30 years old. I didn't have money for the opportunity. The opportunity wasn't in Portland, Oregon. It was in California. And so I asked friends, I asked my parents. I needed $2,000 to that's what I thought I needed to get out to California, to have a little bit of money to, like, survive before I make something. And nobody would give me anything. I was really in the NFL club, no friends left, no funds left. My parents were like, enough is enough, Edmund. You're 30 years old. You could be a doctor by now. Like, we'll help you if you want to go back to school, but you're just, you're not on the right track. Another sales gig, that's not what we want for you. Hasn't worked out so far. Face the music, get serious about your life, go back to school. And so I was like, screw that. I went out to California anyway. I took a second late on my mortgage. So instead of paying the mortgage, I just took that money, which I wasn't living in my house at the time. I was living on a couch, on my buddy's couch. I was renting out my house so that I wouldn't have to pay the mortgage. But I took that rent money from my tenants and I moved out to Cali. So 60 days late on my mortgage in California. And in solar, it takes a while for a project to install to fund, so you don't really make any money in the beginning. You have to have tough skin and be able to weather. I didn't really know that. People share an opportunity with you and they make it sound a little bit better than it is, especially in the beginning. So yeah, February 8th comes around and I've been working for a month and 8 days straight, and I treat myself to a room at the Best Western Plus, because sleeping in your car is not the most fun. So I get a room at the Best Western Plus. It's $60, and I wake up at like 1 in the morning and something's wrong. And yeah, sure enough, there's bed bugs. I go down to the reception area. I'm like, hey, there's bed bugs in my room. Blah blah blah. They switch me rooms. There's still bed bugs. I'm like, I gotta get out of here, and I book it like 45 minutes to Embassy Suites, which at the time for me was a really nice hotel, and it's next to my appointment the following morning. And yeah, Walnut Creek, I ended up being $49 short. Um, I don't know if you guys have been to Embassy Suites in Walnut Creek, but there's just a parking situation, and I just didn't have the $49 dollars. And so again, I call friends, call my parents, and they're like, "You see, we told you it wouldn't work. It's time to come home." And that was like my first really like make or break moment where I almost went back to Portland, because it's just not fun working all day long, 12, 13, 14 hours a day, not getting the results, not seeing the money come in. And, it's in moments of decision that your destiny is determined. I just kind of like cried a little bit, smiled, and decided that, there's always a way. I ended up breaking the company record in sales that month, short month. February is a short month, but did 20 sales. And, March came around and I finally saw a little bit of money. So, yeah. But those are the times that make you, right? They can break you. 99% of people quit 3 feet from gold. And we'll just say it doesn't work and I got taken advantage of, and it sucks, and all this negativity. And then the ones that make it, it's not necessarily driving the nice car and having nice things. What it is the person you become, right? Knowing that you've got tough skin. I almost miss the days that I used to sleep in my Camry and risk it all. And when you grow the most when your back's against the wall. Comfort is the killer of success. You get uncomfortable, all of a sudden human beings can accomplish incredible things. So It's one thing I do today is I try to find ways to stay uncomfortable so that I can keep getting after it.
One of the things I did, I moved out of my house to a neighborhood. Like I said, I left the Rolls Royce Bentley gated neighborhood to a pickup truck neighborhood. And folks, there's nothing wrong with a pickup neighborhood. But I told you guys 2 years ago, I did this to get uncomfortable. And you guys looked at me like, huh? Why are you doing that? Because what happens, you do so well in network marketing that you get so comfortable, you start thinking your pride and ego takes over. You think you're the deal, and you start getting uncomfortable and you lose your edge. So by getting uncomfortable, and I hope and pray all of y'all get that point. Once you get uncomfortable, you go back to hustling. You go back to hustling. I'm going to reiterate a couple things. He said, marry the process and divorce the outcome. You guys get that? Write that down. So right now, you guys are married to the process, hopefully, but don't divorce the outcome. Don't worry about what's going to happen. And he said, he said he slept in his camera. That's the price he had to pay. And what did he say? He said he called his parents for $49 and his friends. And they said, and I quote, some of you have heard this, we told you it would not work. So make that encourage you guys. That should be encouraging. He told himself, I'm going to make it. And it says it's the person that you become along the journey. Hey, Chad, challenge group. You know exactly what he's talking about when it says the person you're becoming, and you guys are becoming that. You know you are. So with that said, so you got to Vegas, you start doing well, and I'm not going to say his name, but you're the number one distributor in that company. And tell everybody some of the blessings that you end up buying you end up buying the owner of Ferrari. Tell us about that, and then what you buy for yourself
Yeah, no, I bought 2 Ferraris in one day. One for
that
my
day.
Yeah, it was on Mother's Day, coming up actually 3 years ago. One for my parents, one for the CEO of the company. And yeah, what's crazy is my parents didn't know how well I was doing when I did that. They were actually upset because I hadn't seen them I've seen them twice in 3 years, and they wanted to buy a car. Their dream car um was a Porsche Cayenne, but they were going to settle for like a GLE Mercedes because they wanted to keep their payments at 600 bucks a month. Now, mind you, they're like 65, 67, trying to get ready to retire. And and they know that I'm in sales. I used to sell cars, so they wanted me to kind of help, with the process, negotiate all this, all that. And yeah, I flew in for Mother's Day, went to a fancy dealership early, and by the time they showed up, I just had 2 Ferrari keys and handed them one, and they were like, "Oh no, we can't accept this. We want you to work on your business, this, that, this, that." That's when they found out, I make $250,000 a month, and I the car in cash, and life is good. And I'll never forget this because I used to always get screamed at by my stepdad um for like even just driving 5 miles over the speed limit. And on the way back to the airport, I literally heard my parents say, I guess we need to start dreaming bigger. And so, you can turn a lot of your haters into fans, and you can really inspire and help people see a little bit more than just what's right in front of them. And that really starts by doing the work yourself. There's a difference between knowing the path and walking the path. In the beginning, nobody cares. It really has to come from you. I like to work with people that have that innate desire and hunger for more. Um, Talent and skill is in my opinion complete BS. Everyone is talented and skilled and special. Everyone has incredible potential. It just doesn't really get uncovered, and a lot of people just want to make an excuse for others' results by just calling them talented and skilled. But my formula for success, if you want to write it down, is commitment and consistency over time beats talent and skill. Commitment plus consistency over time beats, there's no difference between me and so many people out. The only difference is I decided to start and stop. I adopted philosophies like momentum is gained and lost daily. It's so hard to gain, so easy to lose. And
Hmm.
and in my mind, I was like, I am gonna start and I'm not looking back. I'm not taking my eyes off the prize until I have my first 100 month. And the way that happened, just so you guys know, is I went from 90 grand in January to 130 in February, 80 in March to 247, 907 in April. By March, I wasn't even really working anymore. It just kept going. 300 grand in June. It just sometimes you just can't stop it, right? In whatever direction. And it really didn't slow down until the end of the following year. I had helped two people on my team make over $1 million, and they for the calendar year each, and which is more than they had ever made in their lives. And they decided to, go off and do something else. It's really strange how sometimes if your check dips 20, 30 grand a month, you think it's the end of the world. And I made a decision at that point, it was in December, to leave my $2 million home and $25,000 bed and steam shower and two Rolls Royces and get back into the field. My CEO thought I was crazy. Everybody thought I was crazy. And I shipped my Prius. I bought a Prius my 4th month in the business. I said, a Lambo may cost 300 grand, but this Prius will make me millions. Everybody thought I was
Hmm.
crazy and posted it on Instagram. But it's exactly what happened. Shipped my Prius back to Sacramento where it all started. Took a little Southwest flight, and in 13 days, I put up 19 sales. Um, and everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, Edmund, I didn't know you still had it in you." Blah blah blah. It's like, how do you think I got here, right? But what did it take? It took getting a hotel room, nicer than the motel rooms from before, okay? Wasn't that bad. And it took being out at 7:30 a.m. and then sometimes not even coming home till 9, 10 p.m. And on the days that I didn't put up any sales, I didn't even allow myself to eat a nice little steak dinner. And it's just all out massive action and having little consequences and going hard. And any of us can decide to cut out what's not serving us. I think we're all millionaires. We all make of dollars a year in some category, whether it's social media, consuming TV, reality TV shows, some sort of hobby. Like I feel like I was $1 million earner in the gym. I could be there 3, 4 hours, just loved it, so on and so forth. So not all time is created equal. Your business in the beginning needs the most amount of attention, and if you want to, you know, experience what it's like to make 50 grand a month, 50 grand a week passively, then you've got to work pretty hard for it in the beginning, that knowing what you're playing for, knowing that it'll be worth it. And that's the last thing. This could be your superpower. For most people, they let it completely crush them. Your superpower can be developing massive belief in what you're doing and where you're going, and not letting anybody talk you out of it. If you believe you're playing for it, you're playing for it. Look, I've been ridiculed my whole life on what I want to do and what I'm playing for. Right? Today I drive a $500,000 car, and and I have a John Mayer on the wrist. You can put it into Google, right? Green Daytona, right? Um, if you believe you're playing for it, you're playing for it. Don't let anybody talk you out of it. The only thing that matters is that you believe you're playing for it, right? 99% of people aren't playing for anything. They gave up on their dreams a long time ago. Their dreams just lead to like despair and sadness and depression. So like, we're goal obsessed. If you believe you're playing for it, you're playing for it. Don't necessarily put a date on it. It's nice to have goals, but how many times are you gonna fail. So yeah, you're gonna have to fail as many times as people before you, right? Successful people have had more failures and more ridicule and more no's than anyone else. More trial and tribulation, but they didn't quit. They kept going. They failed forward, and then they don't just reach their goals. They outgrow their goals. They completely outgrow their goals. Before, if you had told me that I'd spend 15, 20 grand to charter a little plane somewhere, I would have thought that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. You're a complete idiot. You're wasting money. You should never do something like that. And today, I feel like it's completely justifiable. I don't want to be on Southwest with everyone else. I don't want to wait in line for 2 hours. I don't want to, have my little LV bag all scratched up from someone else. And I just want to be able to hop on when I hop on. I want to be able to roll the car to the tarmac and get on and have a nice conversation with whoever I want to take with me. So, the most beautiful thing about hitting your goals is outgrowing your goals. Most people, they don't even hit goal one. They don't get to outgrow their goals. They don't get to be like, oh, I remember when, this was the dream. They don't get to look back on anything. They just have a story on why it didn't work out for them versus holding all of that inside, keeping it as fuel, and eventually having a that starts inspiring others. Back to you, Al.
That was a great. I'm going to highlight what you just said. He said, guys and ladies, he says, I'm going to start and I'm not going to look left or right. I'm going straight ahead. Write that down. He said something that's very powerful and very empowering. He said he made a decision. He made a decision. Have you really made a decision to go all out? Now he sounded like me a little bit. You know how you tell your kid don't touch the stove and they'll touch it, and if somebody else said to get it. Mr. Edmund, you said some things that I've said, and I stopped saying, but you said this: you got to get uncomfortable. Some of y'all are so comfortable. At 5 o'clock, you're sitting by your wife or husband on the couch eating bonbons, watching TV. He said you got to get uncomfortable. He went from 7 in the morning to 10 o'clock at night, and I've done that. I mean, I was telling another group the other day on another call that I would sit up sundown. And another thing he said that I love, he says he doesn't eat until he deserves to eat. How many guys heard me say that? Some of us, we eat, now we're too tired to do anything. We're too tired to do anything. You know why? Don't eat unless you deserve to eat. Don't eat unless you deserve to eat. Man, I love this. He says you must outgrow your goals. And don't get uncomfortable. You're too DA uncomfortable. That's why a lot of you can't get there. You're comfortable and you don't challenge yourself, push yourself, challenge yourself. I want to say this. We had so many times together talking. He slept in his Camry in the car. How many of you guys would have done that? Think about it. No, I wouldn't do that. He called his parents to borrow some money. We told you it wouldn't work. Come on home.
I,
We'll put you back in medical school. Go ahead.
Al, I will say there are a lot of people that have slept in their car, and to that I say, too bad, so sad, sucks to suck. It's not because you sleep in your car that anybody should applaud you. Most people that sleep in their car gave up, are lazy, and aren't doing fuck all. If you're gonna sleep in your car, you better be fighting for success. You better be getting after it and going for it. There better be a reason why you're making that decision to sleep in your car versus being on a friend's couch or being, at home with the parents, grandparents, whatever. So and a lot of this stuff has to come from you. Like I guess Al also, has consequences and potentially won't eat if he doesn't actually work that day and it's not just about working, it's about getting results, right? Tracking
That's
it,
right.
getting sale. But nobody ever told me that, right? Nobody said, Edmund, hey, if you don't make a sale today, you probably shouldn't eat. No, it came from me. That innate desire for more, for success, forcing your success to happen. It's up here way before it materializes and actually, you know, comes in the form of money in the bank account. It's up here once
Mm-hmm.
you know that you're gonna start climbing your ladder of success. Everybody wants to go uphill with downhill habits. It doesn't work that way. Everyone knows the view at the top is so much nicer, and all they can say is much must be nice. Yeah, it is nice.
It is.
It is nice to believe in something again. it is nice to actually get up and try and work hard. I believe that I am more humble, down to earth, genuine than the average American that thinks that I am cocky and arrogant when I pull up to a stop sign in my car, or when I, go out and buy something. Because the average American comes home, goes in the fridge, grabs a beer, eats ice cream, and watches TV. And to that I say, must be nice. Must be nice to just hang it up at 5, 6, 7, 8 p.m. and have an amazing weekend and just kick it freestyle and hang out with family and then start all over on Monday. Must be nice. But, if you, for whatever reason, already lived that life for, I don't know, 5, 10, 15, 20 years, and if you kind of get like me and you're kind of like sick and tired of being sick and tired, and it's no longer interesting, and you feel like there should be a little bit more than seeing, people around you struggle, stress out. I had parents that were stressing out about getting a car at their age, their dream car, right? They turned the Ferrari in for the Cayenne they wanted. That would have been $950 a month payments. Now they don't have payments, and they sent the difference to my grandma so she could get a walk-in shower because she couldn't raise her foot over the tub anymore. You don't get to do that for your family if you're just kicking it freestyle on the weekends, consuming TV, social media, and watching the game. Okay, must be nice. You get that life if you're open to a little bit of ridicule, to a few no's. And honestly, think about it. Is anybody going to say no to Donald Trump if he approaches them about a business opportunity? Absolutely not. Okay. So it's okay to get a few no's, to develop ourselves to a point to where we have enough posture and influence to where people actually want to work with us, right? In the beginning, nobody wants to work with you. And then eventually, as you get a little bit of traction with yourself, as you develop some credibility with yourself, as you start becoming more disciplined, and you actually have some structure, well, people are attracted to that. And then people all of a sudden want to start doing business with you, right? The speed of the leader is the speed of the team. Sorry, the speed of the team is the speed of the leader. People do what you do, not what you tell them to do, right? If 100 people did what you're doing today to grow your business, would your business be growing or dying? No, these are only questions that you can truly answer, right? When you talk to people, you want to use the 3 E's: excitement, emotion, enthusiasm, right? You want to inject and infect them with excitement, emotion, and enthusiasm so they don't eject and reject you. How do you do that? Well, you can only do that if you had a good night's sleep. You can only do that if you actually have a compelling vision and you know where you're going and you're taking action towards it. Time either promotes you or exposes you. People know, it's not just what you say, but it's also how you say it. People know if you're doing the work. They smell it, they sense it, and that's why. And the only way to really get there is by doing the work. An hour in the field beats 40 hours in the classroom. If you're doing the work, you are gaining that momentum with yourself, and people are drawn and attracted to it. But momentum is gained and lost daily. It's so hard to gain, so easy to lose. So as you gain that momentum with yourself, just tell yourself, oh, I got another 3 years, and keep going, baby, and smile. Because when you're there, you're going to live more in a day than people do in a lifetime. When you're there, you will do more for your family than they can do for themselves in the next 10 years.
That's so true.
It's the truth.
That's so true. That
Yeah.
is so true. God, it's so true, guys. It's so true. And I'm glad that he said that. We got people on the call. What if you had people that are stuck for the last 1, 2, 3, 4 years in the same position? What would you say to those people?
Yeah. I mean, you just don't want it bad enough. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
out here and we're comfortable. We live in the greatest country in the world. The opportunity is better than it's ever been. We have access to iPhones. We're on a Zoom right now. We're connected in multiple different states. And the fact is, that innate desire and is not there. You're basing your excitement, your emotion, your belief on your current results, on your current paycheck, versus on what it could be, what it should be, and going on another sprint, and it's not a little 90-day sprint. That's cute, guys. Yeah, okay, 90-day sprint. Let's celebrate for a day, and then let's go do another one, right? I like to do what's called a 1,000-day sprint. Now, I applaud you and salute you for doing that 90-day sprint, because 99% of people can't even do that. But let's be honest,
Hmm.
you want to make 100 grand a month, you want that to keep coming in month after month. Let's go on a 1,000-day sprint where we do quarterly celebrations, and give ourselves a day or two, and then we just keep going. And that's where you start building that momentum, you start getting that traction in your business, and by the time you look up, you can't stop it. You've really created something beautiful.
Yeah.
But
Like I
but
said, my
start with little steps. You don't have to do a 10-hour day right away. Like, I don't work out anymore like I used to. And when I go back in the gym, I'll just do like 30 minutes instead of 3 hours. And 30 minutes is plenty. But it's work. This business is not about putting in a 10-hour day. It's about doing what you can do consistently, right? It's not about 5 hours one day and then nothing for the rest of the week, and then another like random 4, 5, 6 hours. No, an hour every day would be better than that. Commitment and consistency over time beats talent and skill. You got to be able to see what works for you, and commit. But guys, before 12 o'clock, I've got at least 150 touches, whether it's a call, text, conversation. Like, if you want to make more money, talk to more people. You got to connect with people. You got to plant some seeds, right? Networking for life, not recruiting for today, right? It's not hard to let a few people know that you're thinking about them. It's not hard to fill your calendar, right? If you don't have a desire to fill your calendar, then somebody else fills it for us, right? And that sucks, because now we're building their dream instead of our dream. It's so sad how people will work harder for someone else. People will work harder for a guarantee than they will for themselves. But you just gotta know that the man that does more than he is paid for will soon be paid for more than he does. You don't want to be told how much you're worth. You want the opportunity to go out there and write your own paycheck. And you do that by going out there and exposing people to the opportunity. The great Zig Ziglar said, you help enough people get what they want, and you'll get everything you want in return. Focus on others. Leadership is really serving others. Leadership is really giving without expecting anything in return. Leadership is exactly that: taking accountability, making a stand, creating your success, not letting anything get in the way of it, obviously doing it ethically and morally in the marketplace, and going out there and adding value to the marketplace by serving others, by finding a way to add value, by planting those seeds. And the ones that you think might harvest probably never will, and then just some random blessing will happen that will just come and explode your business. But that comes once you have momentum. That comes once you've done the work. That comes when you least expect it. That comes when you're already so committed, you could go another 2 years, but you don't have to go another 2 years because your business blew up. Back to you,
Yeah.
Al.
Yeah, that's so amazing. I've had people come in, people same position. I have people come in fresh and they shoot right by everybody else. And exactly. I know exactly what you're talking about. So people are stuck and not really committed enough. They're comfortable. Let's just say that. Um, this has been very powerful. So what I'm going to do right now, we got just a few minutes left, ladies and gentlemen. I want to thank my dear friend Edmund for taking time out, but also I want to do this. I want you guys to understand a couple things. Today is a new day for you. Draw a line in the sand and step over it. After today, and this will be posted on Destiny International in a few hours, go back and listen to it over and over. And if I were you, I mean, if I really want to say what I want to do in my life, and if you're sick and tired of being at the same pin level, if only if you're sick and tired. Some people are not, they're just comfortable. Listen to this over and over and take notes on it. Get your notepad out. Take notes. Why do I take notes, Mr. Thomas? That's why you're still stuck in a rut, because you're not coachable. Go back and take notes and then start living what you heard today. I'm here listening to him sound like myself. You know why? Because leaders at this level, we all say the same things. We say it differently, but it's the same outcome. And we just try to touch people. Look at her, Mr. Rep got 3 pages in 20 minutes. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. Because we're there, we're trying to get you there. But you can't if you don't put your ego and pride to the side, listen, implement, and then learn it. So give us a few words in closing, Edmund. Because I know you probably up there. Or so give us a few words in closing.
How many reasons you got? A lot. Maybe you are comfortable, but there's got to be somebody in your life that needs a little help, right? I mean, you're either that person that your family turns to for help, or you're not. And I was never that person until recently, right? I was on a Zoom the other day. I get a call, and my parents want 30 grand. I'm like, what do you need 30 grand for? And, I'm like, let me give you a call back. I'm on a Zoom. Um, but if you want to be that person that your family turns to for help, then become that person. You've got to have reasons why you need to go out there and do this, right? I think we'll do more for others than we will for ourselves. At a certain point, you're kind of good, you're taken care of. There's got to be someone in your life, something in your life and it's got to be more than just like a watch or a car, or a materialistic thing. There's got to be something deep that keeps you going
Hmm.
when going gets tough, because there's going to be some bad days, hopefully just bad moments, right? If it doesn't matter 5 years from now, don't spend more than 5 minutes dwelling on it. um Emotional intelligence is everything. That is what gets in the way of people's success more so than anything else. It doesn't matter how talented and skilled you are, your emotional intelligence will get in the way of your success every single time. But if you can write down some reasons, right? Who are you going to share your success with? Right? Maybe you don't really care that much about the new car, the vacation, the this, the that, but there's somebody in your life that does. There's somebody in your life that hasn't experienced it yet. Who is that? Who are you going to share your success with? Who are you going to take with you to the top, right? Why even do this in the first place? You got to find enough compelling reasons to propel you into action. There's 3 words that I share with my team. You got to lie, cheat, and steal your way to the top every single day. Lie, cheat, and steal your way to the top every single day. You got to lie awake at night, obsessed about your goals, so you know what you're playing for, right? When you hit your head on the pillow, hopefully you worked all day, you're tired, you're going to sleep. But before you do that, review your goals, what you're playing for, right? Lie awake at night, obsessing about your goals. Cheat time away from things that aren't serving you. If you want to level up, you're going to have to give something up. In order to grow, you got to let go. And so for me, it's everything. It's like being an Olympic athlete. I'm going to stay away from sugar. I'm going to stay away from junk food, from things that are going to take away my ambition, desire. In French, you say joie de vivre, this joy of life. I am going to cheat time away from anything that doesn't serve me. There is no time for TV or consuming social media on your way up. The only thing you're doing is creating and putting in that work, right? And then steal every good idea and implement. You already have access to all the greats. Al already has the answers. He can guide you in the right direction, right? When the student's ready, the teacher will appear. You got to be able to go out there and study a little bit. But to me, it's productive activity over personal development. At a certain point, you've heard the tapes, you've done the seminars, and it's time to perform. And so personal development becomes your dessert. That becomes your little like TV, social media time, relaxation time that other people, indulge in beer and ice cream and whatever. The personal development is like, that's the treat, right? You earned it. And it means so much more when you're in the trenches, belly to belly, eyeball to eyeball, putting in the work, because now you're getting more out of the personal development. And if you can figure out a way to have a period of your life where you actually live this life of 90% productive activity and 10% personal development, and you look at your reasons why and you wrote them down, and you maybe tweak, course correct, add, but you actually adopt pen to paper, you actually journal for a period of your life. You're not too cool for it. You're not above it. You're not, oh, I know. You know, everybody knows everything and has nothing. You have that period of life of a couple years of personal development and productive activity combined, that 90/20, with some pen to paper, and you make that the priority. Well, I'm a betting man. I've bet millions of dollars in Vegas. I'm a Noir car holder. I would bet that you're doing very, very well on the other side of that.
Yeah, I can relate to what you're saying. I've been in this industry 33 plus years, and I've had the mansions, I've had the cars, I've had the jets. And it's so true. Sometimes it's not about you, but who can be a blessing. And I'm going to share a story with you. My birthday was in March, and my sweetheart gave me a surprise party for just a couple friends. And so I knew something was going on. So what I did, I thought I surprised her on my birthday, and I gave her an envelope, and it had scrambled the words in the envelope to see where I was going to take her, and I was taking her to Paris, France this year because that's what she always wanted. Why don't you guys do something for people that you love? Don't keep talking about it. Get the hell off your back, excuse my French, off your rear end and go do it. Do it. It's not for me. It's for her. I mean, next week we're going. Next week we're going to take Olsen and whatever, and taking her son with us. What's wrong with the rest of us? My God, it's just not that difficult. Like you said, you hadn't made a commitment yet. You're just too comfortable. Be uncomfortable, folks, please. I thank you for that. And I mean, I've hung out with Mr. Edmund, and we were at a party, a white party, it was almost 8 months ago, and it was so funny. He said, "Al, let me show you something." We were talking about something. We're talking about something, and he said his American Express bill was it's ridiculous. Oh my! It's almost what people making 4 years on his American Express bill for that 1 month. And I said, yeah, yeah, I understand because we understand. But anyway, my friend, I want to say thank you so much. You have anything else you want to say real quick before we close it out? Mister, I could tell you're now
No,
okay. You're good.
if you believe you're playing for it, you're playing for it. You can have anything you want in life if you're willing to put in the work. You know, I tell all my guys, everybody wants to be a solar millionaire. Nobody wants to put in the work. And the work is the fun part. That's the part where you get to know yourself, you grow, you become more, and you attract more. And so I love it. Oftentimes I tell myself I miss it. Oftentimes I tell myself I should be doing more. You know, lazy people think they're working, and high achievers always are worried that they're not doing enough.
Yeah.
And you got to kind of check yourself before you wreck yourself and ask yourself, where are you at mentally today? You know, are you a winner? Are you going out there and creating your success, or have you already kind of given up? And then course correct, right? Take accountability. You know, are you taking full accountability for your life, and are you ready to use your past experiences as fuel to go out there and produce? Or is there still something wrong, right? People that are talking about their past aren't doing well in the present. They're not going anywhere. Are you talking about your past, or are you like in production mode? The last thing I'll share with you guys, I don't know if we have time for it, Al. I've got
Go
one
ahead. Go
last
ahead.
little story. When I
Absolutely.
found out about solar, I had negative $63 in my bank account. I took a screenshot of it because my credit card was maxed out, my line of credit was maxed out, and I was 2 months late on my mortgage, and I had negative $63 in my checking account. I'm 30 years old, and I took a screenshot of it, and it's on my social media. I didn't share that with anybody. I never shared it with anybody. Nobody that I did the opportunity with or did business with ever saw that until three years later when I was making a couple hundred grand a month. If you're talking about your past, you're not going to do anything. I used it as fuel. I definitely made a mental note and was like, never again. But that story didn't get shared until it could be inspiring versus anything else. You got to act and think like a millionaire long before you become one. You have to
Mhm.
identify as one long before it actually materializes into some do re mi or some numbers in your bank account. You know, your life is a direct reflection of your identity. You will, we already live the life we want. If you want more, well, you got to act and think more. And so don't let anything hold you back. For me, that negative $63 maxed out credit cards, bank account, all that stuff, that screenshot, 99% of people, it would have paralyzed them. I can't do anything. I can't start a new business. I don't have the money. How many people say that, right? For me, it was like, I have to do something. This is the reason why I got to get off my butt and actually start working and never stop. And so I turned what 99.9% of people would use as an excuse into like the biggest reason to get going. And I said, nobody will know this. If anything, when somebody talks to me back then, they would have thought I was already successful. Why? Because I spoke like a successful person. I smiled like a successful person. I was trying to be contagious. I was trying to bring the right energy, knowing that life and sales is a transfer of emotion and energy. So whatever your situation is today, shake it off, smile, and go out there and just help people, bless them up, serve. And we're all right around the corner from our goals and dreams. Wishing all you guys an amazing day.